Good morning and a very warm welcome to Tuesday's reflections from Dalgety Parish Church. Today is Tuesday the 25th of January and I'm presuming that you already know that today is Burns Day, the day in Scotland and around the world in which celebrations of our national Scottish poet Rabbie Burns is had. A day in which some children in Scotland will be reciting poems in schools that they have learned, perhaps wearing a little bit of tartan in school uniforms, dancing and singing, and perhaps even tasting some of our haggis. The two young people in this house this morning have left excitedly, for today perhaps feels a little bit more fun than normal school, as they have been learning and reciting their poems. And with a promise, perhaps, of something different happens. So I wonder this morning what you will be doing with your Burns Day. Perhaps you'll be remembering Burns suppers of old, that I presume actually are not happening this year, where the toasts were made to laddies and lassies, where songs of love and life were sung, and where stories were told of past that gave comfort and enjoyment. Perhaps your dinner plans tonight will be to say the Selkirk Grace and the toast to the great chieftain of the pudding race, and singing a rendition of Auld Lang Syne. Burns has given us so much within our culture today. And it's not only a celebration of his works, but it's also a celebration of our dialect. Old Scots is perhaps not used as much as it should be. But I love to hear the words spoken in conversations where effort is not needed. Reading some of these poems and works of Rabbie, I am struck of the rawness of life at times, and in his writings I see some big emotions. And I wonder about the need for writing, for his need for writing as much as it is a gift for us to read. Did the writing provide an outlet for his feelings and emotions? Was something in his writing to document what his experience of life was? Not an easy life, a man who perhaps wore his heart on his sleeve. Though through his works I see a man who lived life to the fullest. He loved others and he knew the heartache of grief. It is through this processing of life that we have some of the greatest works of literature in our country. When I read the Gospels and other stories in the Bible, I am reminded of this. Some to be taken literally, and some to be taken as stories that tell us more perhaps about how the writer is feelings than the events that happened. But I wonder if the Gospel writers were not only writing to record the events before they were lost, but I wonder if they were also processing some of what they had seen and heard, what some had listened to by others older than them had told them. In some stories in our Gospels, we see big emotions, from rejoicing in healings to the happiness shared and celebration of life with each other. We read of wonders and miracles and signs. We pause at grief and heartache. We share in the anger of those who ridicule. And we feel the pain of death. And we experience the delight of a resurrection, all within the pages of our Bible. We read and experience the big emotions along with our Gospel writers, and a faith that is real. So I wonder today, what would you write down about your story today? What would your heart say today? What big emotions are you feeling? Perhaps you are rejoicing and celebrating something that is good and new that has happened to you and your family or your life. Perhaps you are waiting for a baby to be born in your family. Perhaps you are relieved that restrictions are easing for some. Or perhaps you might be even more anxious about the effects of COVID. And whilst the world seems again to be moving on and opening up, you are worried that we are still in a pandemic, and that is not an easy place to be. Maybe you are missing someone today, and that your grief is too hard to share or to write about, and all you can manage to do is pop the kettle on. Big emotions are everywhere, and we all experience these emotions from time to time. So if that is you, please do reach out to someone today, or to phone someone who you think might need a conversation or a chat. But I wonder, you might also find time to pick up your paper and pen and write this story or a poem or a song about a world in which you are experiencing. But maybe you will also spend your afternoon reading of red roses, or longing for your heart to be in the Highland, with mountains covered in snow and straths and green valleys below, with forest and wild hanging woods. Or simply sing to old acquaintances, and where cups of kindness might be shared. However and wherever you spend your day, and whomever you spend your day with, spend it knowing that you are loved and known, that you are important, and that your emotions are justified and normal. Big emotions are not easy, so go tell someone if you're struggling, or maybe just check in with someone who might need to hear your friendly voice. Let's pray. God, we give thanks for those who have written, so that we may understand stories of the past. We give thanks for those who have shared their emotions and experiences with us, so that we might reap the rewards of life. We give thanks for those who have gone before, but have left us with the riches of the past. May we learn to walk humbly in our own way. May we listen to the rhythm of the life that you have given us. May we learn to slow down and to pause, to stop and to be, and to see where you might be working in our own lives. Be with all those who are struggling this day. Be with those who need to see your light and to experience your loving presence. For God, you are ever present, ever near, ever loving and all-knowing. May we find hope in this day, and may we find ways to recognise you in our everydayness, so that we may be able to simply follow you and to show the love that you give to us, to all those whom we meet. Amen. Enjoy your day all. Have a good one. See you later.